Good morning, children. Today I have some of the things I want to show you here are, this is a chalk powder, this is a tomato ketchup, this is a soap bar, a toothpaste, sugar, soap solution, a lemon, table salt and vinegar. Now I want you to group these things into different categories. So can you think of some of the categories which you can group these compounds into? Correct. So these categories are acid, bases and salts. Let's try and group these compounds into these three categories. So first acid which I can see here is a tomato ketchup. Yes, lemon is also an acid and vinegar. Correct. So these three falls in the category of an acid. Next is a base. So yes, this is a base. A soap bar and a soap solution both are base. The third category is salt. So yes, a chalk powder and a table salt come in the category of salts. Whereas children, sugar neither falls in any of the three categories. So today our topic of study is acid, bases and salts. So the first we will be studying is their examples. The most common example of an acid is hydrochloric acid or HCl and H2SO4. Some of the examples of bases are sodium hydroxide or ammonium hydroxide. Whereas the most common example of salt is table salt or NaCl or chalk powder or calcium carbonate. Next, we come to its taste. Have you ever tasted acid, children? No. Don't even try tasting an acid. I will tell you, an acid will always taste sour, whereas all the bases taste bitter, and all the salts are salty in taste. Some salts are even sweet, some you will find sour and some bitter as well. But most of the salts are salty in taste. Now after taste, let's come to neutralization. So children, do you know what you mean by neutralization? The word neutralization means which cancels the effect of. So children, an acid will always cancel the effect of a base, whereas a base will always cancel the effect of an acid. So children, neutralization reaction means when an acid reacts with the base, it forms salt plus water. Does this mean, children, when an acid reacts with a base, will it forms salt and water? Does this mean when an acid reacts with a base will form salt and water? Does this mean when a lemon juice reacts with soap solution will give you salt and water? No, children. The example of this will be an acid which is HCl when reacts with a base called as NaOH will give you a salt which is NaCl and water H2O. So this is the famous neutralization reaction of chemistry. I hope you understood neutralization very clearly. Now after neutralization, we come to solubility. Solubility. To understand solubility, let's perform an activity. So here children, I have 4 containers table salt one by one. So here I have a lemon juice with me, which is an acid. When I try dissolving lemon juice in water, as you can see, acids have completely dissolved in water. When I try dissolving bases, this is a soap solution. Yes, again soap solution has dissolved in water. It means some of the bases are soluble in water and the bases which are soluble in water are called alkalis. Next, I will try dissolving table salt in water. Yes, the table salt has completely dissolved in water. Another example of salt was chalk powder. Let's try and find out whether this dissolves in water or not. So after some time, as you have seen, the chalk remains insoluble in water. So from this activity, we have come to know that all the acids dissolve in water, some of the bases dissolve in water, which are called alkali, and some salt dissolve as well as some salts are insoluble in water. Now after solubility, let's come to their identification. Identification. How will you identify whether it's an acid, bases or salt? So children, just remember, all the acids have hydrogen in them, hydrogen atom. So does this mean water is an acid? Does this mean C6H12O6 or sugar is an acid? No, children. The hydrogen in an acid needs to be replaceable. Then only it's an acid. If I talk about bases, bases are metal oxides, metal hydroxides, or ammonium hydroxides. Whereas if I talk about salts, all the salts should contain a cation other than hydrogen, and it should contain an anion other than hydrogen, hydronium ion. The simplest example will be Fe2SO4. After identification, we come to indicators. Indicators. So children, what do you mean by indicator? A substance which changes its color on adding acid, bases or salt are called indicators. To understand indicators, let's perform an activity, children. Here, I have some acid with me, some bases and some salt. And here is an indicator strip. This indicator strip I have tried making with the China rose. So let's see what happens when I dip this indicator strips in acid, bases or salts. So as you can see, children, the blue indicator has turned red on dipping it into an acid. The blue strip remains colorless on dipping it into a base, and the blue strip again remains colorless on dipping it into salt. So children, there are three indicators by which we can find out whether the substance is acid, base or salt, and those are, first is the red litmus, next is blue litmus, and one more indicator, children, is phenolphthalein. So children, when red litmus, this is acid, base and salts. So when red litmus is put into an acid, it remains colorless. When red litmus paper is dipped into a base, it turns into red color. It changes its color into blue. Correct. And when this red litmus paper is added into salt, it again remains colorless. If I talk about the blue litmus paper, this blue litmus paper will turn into red when dipped into an acid. It will remain colorless when dipped into a base, and again it remains colorless when dipped into a salt. And if I talk about another indicator, which is phenolphthalein, the phenolphthalein will only change its color into pink when it is added into a base, and it will remain colorless in both acids and salts. So here children, indicator can tell you whether which substances acid, bases or salts. So let's revise what we have studied today children. We have studied the examples of acid, bases and salts like HCl and H2SO4. The example of bases is NaOH, calcium oxide and ammonium hydroxide, whereas the examples of salts are sodium chloride and calcium carbonate. Next we studied about their taste. How do acid taste? Sour. Base taste bitter, whereas salt tastes salty. If I talk about neutralization, all the acids neutralizes base, all the bases neutralizes acids, and salts are formed on neutralization. Solubility, yes, all the acids are soluble in water. Only few bases are soluble in water and they are called alkali, whereas there are two types of salt, one is soluble and one is insoluble. If I talk about identification, all the acids replace hydrogen, whereas bases are metal oxides, hydroxides and ammonium hydroxides, and all the salts contains cation other than hydrogen, and they contain anion other than O2 negative or OH negative. And lastly, we talked about indicator test. So all the acid turn blue litmus to red, all the bases turns red litmus to blue, and phenolphthalein turns into pink in base, whereas salts remains or shows no change in color. Next, I will give you some recap questions, children. Come. Now I will ask you certain questions in class. The first question is, give an example of an acid. Correct. Hydrochloric acid, sulfuric acid. Okay. My second question is, what is neutralization? Correct. Neutralization means when an acid reacts with a base, it gives salt and water. My next question is, what is an example of a base? Correct, children. Hydroxide, ammonium hydroxide and sodium hydroxide. Now, I will give you certain class 4 questions, children. So the first question is, an acid changes dash litmus dash. Correct, it changes blue litmus to red. Second, a base change dash litmus to dash. Very good, bases change red litmus to blue. My third question, give an example of a salt. Yes, it's calcium carbonate. Next question, acid dissolved in water to release what? Very good. Acid dissolved in water to release hydrogen ions. And last question is, bases when dissolved in water are called what? Yes, they are called alkalis. Now children, note down your homework. You have to create an activity to show that various spices found in our kitchen are acid, bases or neutral substances. So children, I hope today's topic of acid, bases and salts are very clear to you. In our next class, we will study about them in more detail. Thank you. Good morning children. Today I have some